Hey guys, on today's show, we are going to talk about how this past week was Donald Trump's finest hour. You guys, a masterclass, I tell you. So much has happened in just 1 week. So, we're going to talk about what's going on with the Iran Israel situation. We're going to talk about some SCOTUS decisions, which are fantastic. And then we're going to talk about the big, beautiful bill. So, stick around for all that on The Angela Box Show.
Hello, my name is Angela Box.
Show your fucking money.
Okay, guys, it's been like a week since, so much has happened. It's been a week since Donald Trump in the United States decided it was like, yeah, we're all done here with you, Iran. We're all done with your developing uranium and developing nuclear weapons. Like, you're not going to do it. We're done. Been 1 week since the bunker busting bombs that were dropped on Iran's nuclear facilities. And it's been a few days since the Democrats, caterwauling about it has, subsided a little because Trump basically took out all of their nuclear sites, even though some dirtbags in Congress leaked an incomplete report to the media saying no, they didn't get them all, and Iran's like, actually they totally did, and can we make a deal? Like a week, you guys, 1 week ago, where every single leftist on planet Earth was like, we're gonna get into World War III. This is it. Trump's gonna take us into World War III. And no, no. This is what peace through strength looks like. This is what 3D, 4D, 5D chess looks like. This is what effing around and finding out looks like. This is Donald Trump's brand. All right. He's always been this way. He has said these things for decades. The same things he's saying today, he said 25, 35 years ago. And no, Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. So that's all done. And in fact, it's so delicious because Trump is reinvigorating the Abraham Accords with Israel. And now countries like Saudi Arabia and Syria want to come to the table. They're like, we don't want this to happen to us. So we'll come to the table too. Because at the end of the day, this is what Trump is so good at. And it's revolutionary in its simplicity. Trump is just saying people want to live in peace. All right. People want to be they don't want to have to worry about being blown up every 5 seconds. Or, if you're a woman and you show some hair in Iran, then you're going to get stoned or thrown off a building. Like, people just want to live in peace and live their lives and, have good jobs and be able to prosper. Like, that's it. That's what the Abraham Accords are going to be doing and setting up. And, Trump won't get any credit for it. Whatever, fine. But the world will be a better place for it. And I guarantee you, by the end of his term, or maybe 10 years down the road, he's going to be on Mount Rushmore, you guys. This is the most consequential presidency of our lifetimes. And it's just getting started. So, love that. Love that that's how we started the week. And I love that the left had egg on their face over this whole Iran thing because they deserve it. Because they're the ones who created this mess. Barack Obama created this entire mess. And when we unravel the string and we come back to the beginning of this whole thing and understand that Obama not only allowed this to happen, he facilitated it to happen with the $500 million almost of our money in pallets of cash he gave Iran in the dead of night, who then took that money and fomented terror around the world. Barack Obama, who helped create ISIS and who said, oh, it's going to be like 30 years when we get rid of ISIS. And Trump's like, no, we're going to get rid of them in months. And that's exactly what he did. So again, simplicity. It's revolutionary in its simplicity. You F around, you will find out. You're not going to mess with the United States. Fantastic. Okay, the next topic, Supreme Court, you guys. This gives me so much schadenfreude. Taking pleasure in the misery of others. And I say all the time in the show, I don't take pleasure in the misery of good people. I take pleasure in the misery of dirtbag Democrats, okay? And dirtbag leftists who are having a very, very hard time right now. So Friday, Trump came out with Pam Bondi and someone else in the DOJ. I can't think of his name, but they were like, hey, Supreme Court just brought us some really beautiful decisions on a silver platter. The biggest one being this nationwide injunction crap is coming to a screeching halt. Like, these idiot just judges, these federal court judges, these circuit court judges that were basically like, we don't like what Trump is doing, so we're just going to stop it. Like we're president, and we're going to tell the American voters like F you and pound sand. Like that's what these injunctions were doing. And Pam Bondi rightfully pointed out that out of 95 district courts that we have in the United States, five of them, five were responsible for these ridiculous injunctions that if the Supreme Court had not stepped in, they would have taken years and years and years of litigation, which is the whole reason they did it in the first place. It was to stop the Trump agenda that the American people overwhelmingly voted for and overwhelmingly are supporting. Because Trump is sitting at about a 52, 53, 54% approval rating right now. For Donald Trump, that's extraordinary, okay? For any president in a divided country that we are to be sitting at over 50% in some of these legacy media polls, which tells you he's probably closer to 58 to 60, extraordinary, okay? So let's talk about just two of the cases. The injunctions, the nationwide injunctions are done. So now we're going to be able to deport illegals. We're going to be able to get the tariffs back. All these things that they wanted to stop or to slow, done. Done and dusted. Thank you very much, Supreme Court. And not only that, but like the way that the decision that was written by Amy Coney Barrett, who's, I guess, back in the MAGA fold, thank God, she just completely pulled the rug out from under and showed what an idiot Ketanji Brown Jackson was. Just an idiot. Like basically calling her out saying, did you go to law school? Like, do you understand the separation of powers here? Do you understand that a small little federal court cannot give policy for the United States? Like, you can't. And this case, the CASA case, which was the birthright citizen case, the only thing the left can cling to is that the Supreme Court did not, they kind of kicked the can for the birthright citizenship. And Pam Bondi's like, well, it's going to get decided in October, and we're pretty confident that it's going to go our way too, because birthright citizenship, the way the left has interpreted it, is simply a vote-getting mechanism. It is the great replacement. It's not a theory; it's what they did. So anybody teaming over the border from Mexico or El Salvador or Iran or whoever, you can get over the border and you can pop out a kid. That kid's an American citizen. Absurd, I tell you, absurd. The 14th Amendment very clearly was for the children of slaves. That's it. Because if you're an American citizen and you have a child overseas, that kid is not a citizen of the country where it's popped out. It's a citizen of where the parents are from, which would be American. So this is going to get decided, I think, in a 6-3 way. Certainly, I would imagine a 5-4 way, but I think it's going to be 6-3 because it's so obvious. Like, and it's so crazy that for the longest time, the left has run on this idea that if you pop out a kid in America, that kid's an American citizen. And there was no pushback. There was no pushback on it until Donald Trump. And yes, this is what we all voted for because it's absurd. And it's how the Democrats have stayed in power. It's how people like Zohran Mamdani are probably going to be the next mayor of New York City because of unfettered immigration and unfettered abuse of our migration system, which birthright citizenship is number one on the list. So that was good. The other big one, I mean, there were several, but this is another one that was a head scratcher. It's like, why did this have to go to the Supreme Court? Why is it that, and I'm going to give you a little history lesson. Up until about 10 years ago, the percentage of people in any given society that were gay or lesbian was like 3 to 5%. Like, that's what it's been since time immemorial, 3 to 5%. We all know gay people. We all grew up gay people. It's not a big deal, right? Well, what happened in the last 10 years? This onslaught of LGBTQ and transgenderism and all this crap, which has taken that number 3 to 5%. And now Gen Z, which was recently polled, 25% of them identify as LGBTQ. This not by accident. This is a systematic propagandizing, brainwashing of the public school system. And so this case, I believe it was in Maryland, these parents, again, it was crazy that it had to go to the Supreme Court. Parents were basically saying, listen, I don't want my children being indoctrinated with this crap, and we want the ability to opt our kids out of these lessons that you're shoving down kids' throats. Like that's all as parents. Like that's all we want. I mean, we all saw for the last 3 years how parents finally got a belly full of this crap and started getting really loud. And that is why these cases like this were such head scratchers, because it's like, why wouldn't you just let parents opt out of that? Like, what's the big deal? Like, that's not a big deal. But for the human rights campaign, those terrorists, as I call them, for the radical LGBTQ groups, this was a bridge too far for them. And they're like, no, your child must be indoctrinated with our crap. Your kid must be one of those 25% of Gen Z that identify now as LGBTQ. Guys, it didn't happen in a vacuum. Okay. The communists knew you get the kids, you've got them for life. That's why they want nationwide government schools. That's why what they want this crap being taught. And the Supreme Court was like, no, parents have the right to opt out. Again, common sense, common sense. So that's a good piece of SCOTUS news too. And there are several others, but those are the big ones for me. And I'm very happy about it. Okay, our final topic, the big beautiful bill. And this kind of all wraps it up in a bow because, as I said at the top of the video, Donald Trump had his most impactful, in my opinion, most impactful, extraordinary week of his political life this last week. And the recalcitrant Republicans or the dirtbags like Lisa Murkowski who are like, I'm going to be an independent now and caucus with the Democrats. Like, bitch, leave. We don't want you anyway. Goodbye and good riddance. And this is your last term. 100%. Alaska, get this lady out of there. Anyway, here's my point. The big beautiful bill was sort of languishing until this past week, where Trump was like, "You better get this done." The political might of Donald Trump is so strong right now. He is just killing it on the world stage, on the domestic stage. We've got the Supreme Court decisions that are all going his way. That he's basically telling these Republicans, "F around and find out." Like, if you don't think that I will spend every waking second trying to get you out of office, like, think again, Thomas Massey, okay? Because you're toast, okay? Anybody who's going to go against this bill, it's not perfect, but it's the best damn thing we've seen in a long time. It's going to resume building of the wall. It's going to make sure your taxes don't go up 68%. It's going to deport illegal aliens. It's going to codify the tariff structure. Like, all these things that we voted for, that dirtbag rhinos have tried to, not implement. Those days are over. So the big beautiful bill just passed the Senate. Now it's going to head back to the House and do their little reconciliation there. But Trump's like, I want this thing passed by July 4th. It's beautiful symbolism, I tell you. Beautiful symbolism. Independence Day, freedom from big government, freedom from fraud, waste, and abuse, freedom from big taxes. And the Democrats are, because they have such extreme TDS, like stage 11 TDS, to borrow from Spinal Tap. They took their TDS to an 11. Like, because they're so insane and they have to just reflexively go against anything Trump does, even if it's good for the country, they're writing their political epitaphs. They really are. And I mean, they're epitaphs, obituaries, whatever you want to call them. Fine, do it. Continue down this road. Continue standing against common sense solutions for the American people. We want you to. We want you to be such a ridiculous boil on the ass of humanity fringe party that you win no national elections from here on out. So please go for it. Although I will say, it looks like John Fetterman might be voting for the bill. He's smart. Again, that stroke was the best thing that ever happened to John Fetterman. I wish he would just become a Republican. Hey, he might. Who knows? But in the meantime, he probably is going to be a yes vote. I imagine some other Democrats that are in some swing states or swing areas are going to be like, oh, God, I got to hold my nose and vote for this thing because otherwise I'm out of my ass in the next election. So look for that, ladies and gentlemen. What a coda, what a cap off of the best political week of Donald Trump's life. And I think it's just going to continue because he's made it very clear. He's not giving up on the election fraud of 2020. He's like, we have to learn and understand what the Democrats did there, the coup, the overthrow of the United States government, everything they did because of it, the wide open border. We can never forget what the Democrats did to us. And Donald Trump's not going to forget. And these things are all going to come to light. And I cannot wait, you guys. I cannot wait. All right. That's where I'm going to leave today's video. Let me know what you think down below. And I will see you in the next one. I will be done. Bye.